Hi, and welcome to M. Claire's Yoga and Wellness channel. Today's flow is going to be a really funky, twisty, fire up the body kind of flow. We really want to have fun with this, but I also want you to feel the heat build up in your body. We're going to work quite a lot on our core. We're also going to move in some really funky poses. We're going to do a little bit of like fallen triangle and maybe even a bit of side plank with eagle legs, just to make it fun. If you can't do some of these poses, I will do modifications. So please don't shy away from doing the flow. It will have modifications so that you can all have a go at feeling really fired up, empowered, and also just have this fun, funky flow to play around with. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start at the back of our mat. I'm actually going to come on our tiptoes first as we come. So tuck your toes, sit back on your heels, and we're going to come into this modified child's pose. And then reach your fingers to the front of the mat as you rest your forehead on the ground. From here, I want you to bring your hands into prayer position and then bring them over the top of your head. If it's uncomfortable to keep your toes like this, you can untuck them if that's easier. Then bring your hands forward and drop into our upward facing dog, or you can come into cobra if this is too soon for you already. I'm just going to come up and down in a nice wave-like motion. Starting to get some mobility in the spine here. Then push up to your upward facing dog and then push back into your downward facing dog. Here you're just going to walk your legs on the spot. You can add some movement with your hips as well. You really want to open up the body. And really come up onto those tippy toes. And then push the heel down towards the mat. Then you're just going to open your legs slightly wider. And then you're going to reach your left hand to the outside of your right leg. You can either go to your ankle, or if it's too soon, it can be anywhere on that outside leg. And then twist, looking up towards the ceiling. Come back to the center, change sides. Come back into downward facing dog. Bring your feet back to shoulder width apart. You're going to take a few steps forward to the front of your mat, coming into your standing forward fold. And then you can hold onto your elbows and you can move side to side like a rag doll, releasing any tension. And again, just adding a little bit more mobility into your spine. Place your hands down on the floor, Bend your knees and slowly roll up, coming into our mountain pose. Bend your knees, coming down into chair, extend your arms, and then stand back into mountain pose. We're going to do this a few times. Extend your arms, come down into chair, and then back up into mountain pose. We're going to do this 5 more times, really getting into the quads here. And really engage your core as you stand up. And last time. Extend your arms over your head, interlace your fingers, and add a slight back bend here. Come back to neutral and reach your fingers towards the right side of the room, lengthening down the left side of the body. Come back to center and then reach your fingers towards the left side of the room. And then come back to center. And then again, we're going to sit back into that chair. Here we're going to pulse for 10. Last one. Bring your hands into prayer position. And then take your elbow to the outside of your right knee, adding a nice twist here. Come back through the center, change sides. And come back. Stay down in your chair position, and if you can, come up onto your tippy toes, and then extend your arms over your head. Breathe. Come back into prayer. Drop your feet to the mat, and then if you're ready, jump back into plank, or you can take a few steps into plank position. Hold your plank, engage your core. If you need to do this from your knees, please do so. We're just going to hold our plank for 3 more breaths. And come through your chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And then I just want you to drop your hips and look over your left shoulder. Come back through the center. And then drop your hips, look over your right shoulder. Come back into upward facing dog and push back into downward facing dog. Breathe here. Here we can come forward, bring your left knee to the outside of your left elbow. Come down to your wrist, back up to your elbow, and then extend into 3-legged downward dog. We're going to do this 5 times. And last one. Extend. Come through 1-legged chaturanga, upward facing dog, and push back into downward facing dog. And let's repeat on the opposite side. Extend your right leg into 3-legged downward dog. Come forward, touching your right knee to right elbow, down to your wrist, back to your elbow, and extend into 3-legged downward dog. And let's repeat another 5 times. And last one. And come through our one-legged chaturanga, upward facing dog, and push back into downward facing dog. Step forward with your right foot, pivot your back foot coming into your warrior one. Reach your fingers towards the ceiling and sink your hips low. Come forward into your high lunge. Hold here. And then come up into crescent lunge. Bring your palms into prayer position. And then you add your twist here. And you can either look at your foot or you can look up towards the ceiling or behind you, depending on your balance. Come back to the center. Place your hands shoulder width apart. Step back into our one-legged plank and come through our flow. Into downward facing dog. Step forward with your left foot coming into warrior one. Really sink those hips. Then come forward, pivot that back foot, coming into your high lunge. You can move a little bit back and forth, just getting deeper into your hip area and opening up some of the areas that feel a bit stiff here before you push up into your crescent lunge. Then bring your palms together and add that twist. And again, you can either look towards the ceiling or down at your foot to help you with your balance. Come back into high lunge with your hands in prayer position. Place your hands down, step back into your one-legged plank, come through your flow, upward facing dog, and push back into downward facing dog. Here we're going to just bring your right knee towards your chest, and we're just going to extend it to the outside of your left side of the body. And this is a really lovely stretch to get into your IT band, and especially for runners or people that have very tight hamstrings, this is a great stretch. And just keep that right foot flexed as well to deepen the stretch. And then we're just going to come round into our fallen triangle. You can either stay here or you can lift that right leg off the floor. And then you can bring your knee in, and we're going to just do 5 pulses here. Like I said, or you can stay in fallen triangle. Extend your leg. Then you're going to interlace your legs into eagle legs. Crouch down and reach your arm over your head if this is within your practice. If it's not, please just stay in your fallen triangle. We'll be finished here soon. Come back out, bring your knee in, extend your leg, come back into that fallen triangle, pivot your hand round, bring your knee back in towards your chest, step forward again into your high lunge. This time, drop your back knee into low lunge, extend, again bring your hands into prayer position. You can add a twist here. Come back to neutral. Place your hands on the floor, extend your back leg into high lunge, step back into your one-legged chaturanga through your flow. Upward facing dog and back into downward facing dog. And now we're going to repeat on the opposite side. Before we do, just take a few breaths here. Come forward, bring that left leg extended across the body towards the right side. Keep your foot flexed. And you're just going to push back on your hands. Make sure your hips are square. And really feeling the benefits of this lovely stretch down the back of your hamstrings and into your glute. And then when you're ready, we're going to extend into our fallen triangle. And for those who would like to, lift that bottom leg off the floor, and you can also either stay here or you can add the 5 pulses with me, bringing your knee in towards your chest. Then hold here, and you can either come into your eagle legs and extend your arms over the back and then sink down. Careful with your balance here. And then when you're ready, under your legs, bring that bottom knee in, extend it back out. You can hold it for a second here, really engaging your core. Come back into your fallen triangle. Bring your hands back. And then we're just going to bring that knee in, step forward into high lunge, drop the back knee, coming up into our low lunge. Bring your hands into prayer position. You can add your twist here. Again, looking towards the ceiling or to your foot, wherever feels best. Come back to neutral. Place your hands on the floor. Extend the back leg into high lunge. Back into one-legged chaturanga. Through your flow. Come back into downward facing dog. And breathe here. Try and get those heels towards the mat. And lengthen through your tailbone. Here we're just going to come forward. We're going to do one last core exercise. We're going to bring opposite knee to opposite elbow, come back into plank, and then change sides. And we'll do this for 10. And if you find this too difficult, you can also just stay in plank, or you can do it with your knee plank with your knees on the floor and wait for us to finish. Halfway. Last one. Here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to bend back and we're going to jump forward into Amalasana, yogic squat. You can also just find your way into it if it's easier for you. Then I want you to bring your hands into prayer position, lengthen through your spine, and use your elbows to push your knees outwards. And you can add a little bit of movement. I know this is not what we traditionally do, and we should stay still, but sometimes when we're trying to open up the hips and get into those stiff areas, little movement is really good for us. So you can either move side to side if it does feel good for you, or you can stay stationary. Then come back to neutral. Take 2 deep breaths in here. Then you can reach your left hand to the outside of your left foot and add a twist here. Or you can stay in Malasana if this is too much for you. Come back to the center and change sides. Come back to neutral. And all we're going to do is take our hands behind us and slowly come into the center of our mat and slowly roll down one vertebra at a time, coming onto our backs. And before we finish, we're just going to do a small spinal twist. So bring your right knee and just cross it over your body. You can use your hand to hold it there. Make sure your shoulders are both on the mat. And then reach your right hand to the back of the room and take your gaze towards those right fingertips. Then come back through the center. Bring your knee towards your chest, and you can add a little side-to-side movement here, just getting again into the hip joint. Extend your right leg. Bring your left leg towards your chest, and you're just going to cross your left leg over, and again reaching your left arm towards the back of the room and taking your gaze towards your left fingertips. And come back to the center. Bring your knee towards your chest, and again, you can just move it side to side if it feels good for you. Extend your left leg and come into your final position, Shavasana. Allow your legs to fall heavy and your feet to fall to the outside, and let your arms also come to the outside of your body in a comfortable position. I just want you to lie here, slowing down your breathing, focusing on inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth, and making sure that you're present on your mat. And after you've built up the heat today, it's the perfect time to relax in our Shavasana and allow your muscles to melt into the mat, and keep your mind focused on the here and the now before we end off our flow today. And if you're ready, just start to move your fingers and toes. Stretch your arms over the top of your head, and then come to the side. to meet me in the center of your mat in a comfortable position. Thank you very much for joining me today on this fiery, funky flow where we got to really build up the heat in the body, but we also got to move in some really fun poses as well to keep it light and fun. And also, by doing flows like this, it challenges us. Sometimes we might come onto the mat and we can do everything. Other times it's really difficult, but to add a little challenging poses into there, it makes something for us to work on, and we can come back to this and try it again if we weren't able to do all of the poses today. I really do hope you enjoyed it and you had fun with the flow. And if you did, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends and family and anyone you think that would also benefit from a funky, fiery flow like this. And also, if you're looking for longer flows or some coaching, please have a look at mclaireyoga.com and you'll see all the different options we have there. Memberships, all for 2023, so it's a one-off fee for the rest of the year. And also the coaching is anything from life coaching to wellness and accountability coaching, and also specific coaching for just athletes. Anyway, check it out. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.